This is the slide narration for our final presentation for SE 500 on Chapter 14, Teaching and Learning with Technology in Music and Art. This presentation was put together by Nick Jakubek, Cameron Taylor, and Julie Klein. Technology has been and continues to be integrated into every facet of our lives. Another dimension for educators to explore is how technology and music and arts can be blended for an enhanced and vibrant education. In this presentation, we will be exploring the following topics: issues in music and art, solutions to issues, most used tools in music and art, integration methods of music and art, examples of technology in music and art, assessment tools, and then a bio on the members of the group. On this slide, you can find quick access to each of the sections. Each of these buttons is a click away from the title. First, we'll identify some issues in integrating technology into music and art instruction. The first is funding. Both music and art classes are expensive, with extensive lists of consumable items, large equipment, specialized tools, annual upkeep, and expensive software suites. Also, computing needs is a challenge. Typical Chromebooks or other one-to-one computers or tablets are not powerful enough to run top-grade software for music and art. Additional powerful workstations generally need to be purchased. Another issue is the hands-on nature. Both music and art are typically hands-on classes, teaching skills with physical manipulatives rather than abstract production developed digitally. Adding the amount of technology insisted upon detracts from those hands-on skills. Some solutions to these possible issues are funding and computing. Addressing specifically the technological aspect, there are lower grade programs that are free or much cheaper than the premium fully developed suites. This would work for some, but not all applications of technological needs, and allow exposure to the kinds of technology available in the field. Other solutions include tools. Finding small tools that add significance into the lesson with technology is feasible. Some software technology would require its own class setting, but certain pieces of technology, if seamlessly integrated, can enhance a lesson and make teaching more efficient. Some of the most used tools in music education include sound systems like speakers, CD players, auxiliary cables, subwoofers. This provides the educator and students the ability to hear what they are working on clearly at the highest quality. This applies for recordings, both professional and personal, for playback of digital constructs, and amplification and support of concerts and performances. Notation software like Finale. This is one of the industry standard products for digital music notation. At the very least, the educator should have a copy to be able to facilitate part writing or rewriting, worksheet building, test making, creating study aids, etc. Also, you'll note that if you click on the logos, the icons on these pages, they will take you to the website. Other tools in music include listening services like Spotify, Apple Music, and Naxos. These services offer enormous libraries of all kinds of music. They are paid and others are free. Some are paid and others are free, but it allows both educator and student access to multiple recordings of certain songs and brings new and appealing content to the classroom. YouTube. This provides basic audio for an enormous library of performances from all over the world, as well as providing video for every aspect of nuance one can have in music. It also allows access to master classes from professionals and collegiate professors in any musical discipline or field. Some of the most used tools in art education include Google Slides. This allows for presentations on various periods of art, projects, and works that students may not be able to see with their own search filters. An excellent tool for presenting the art of the world. The Smartboard. Smartboards provide students with numerous examples of the artworks from various artists and art periods in a large format, so fine details can be seen and analyzed. An unmeasurable tool for presenting art and engaging students in discussions to form different opinions of art and the different meanings a piece may have. YouTube is also used in art education. It can introduce students to art concepts, tutorials, and techniques that establish new skills by introducing beginner tutorials that assist students in developing creating thinking skills and their own unique art styles. Google Classroom is also used frequently. It provides students with an online platform where they can access lecture notes, videos, and discussion material on their own time outside of the classroom. It enables students to stay connected with classmates and engage with projects while learning online. Some integration for music education This topic was one that we thought we should include if some of the challenges that we mentioned were not an issue at all. So, if funding wasn't a challenge, if some of the other drawbacks were not an issue, these are sort of the wish list of classes for integrating technology into music education and art education, if we could have what we wanted. So these are from Taylor. Theory and composition class or club. While some theory can be covered in ensembles, much more is necessary to be a fully fluent musician. This class would be a fully developed music theory class with a Sibelius tutorial built in so that students could apply what they have learned into original compositions. I would love for both band or choir students and other non-musician, everyone is a musician, students to take this and explore their imaginations orally. This would have applications for students to be able to write their own practice and study aids for ensemble classes. Another possibility for music integration would be recording and mixing classes or clubs. This is a long shot mainly due to financial concerns. The cost of software, hardware, and equipment is astronomical. In this course, students would learn the basics of microphone and monitor setup, proper recording techniques, mixing skills, and digital modification. There would be potential for collaboration between theory and composition class and band or choir for big projects and performances. This would utilize an enormous variety of musical equipment and recording software like Pro Tools or GarageBand. Some possible integration for art would be an art history class or web design club. While establishing the fundamentals in art is important, art history would be of great importance to the students as well. This class would focus on art history as a whole from prehistoric to modern day. I feel that this course would benefit my students because it will present them with an appreciation of human history through artwork. With this class, students will learn of art history through virtual tours of the Louvre and create a personal website to that art movement through Dreamweaver. Another possible opportunity to integrate technology into art education would be through an anime or comic art class or club. I realize that this style of classroom is not normally found in a traditional curriculum. However, I've noticed that a large number of my students have a significant interest in anime, manga, and comic books. I would enjoy teaching students to create their own unique anime or comic book styles and characters. Not only would students be introduced to the unique styles of different anime and comic book artists, they would learn to create their own digital illustrations with programs such as Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, or Medibang. Some other tools that are used in the music classroom are Bluetooth speakers. These portable speakers are extremely affordable and provide superior audio playback from digital devices such as smartphones and tablets. This is an integral part of my private studio and something I recommend to all my students. Also, the Avid Suite. Sibelius is a world-class notation software that allows the utmost freedom in composition and document publishing. Very similar to Finale in use, but it allows for extreme control of fine details. I use this frequently for arranging and transpositions from other instruments. Pro Tools. Sibelius' partner in the recording and mixing realm, one of the most utilized pieces of software in professional audio. Other examples for the music classroom, or just some tools to integrate, include the Tonal Energy Tuner, an incredibly precise tuner that allows the user to explore various realms of intonation, analyze their audio and harmonic structure, use an advanced metronome, apply vocal and instrumental listening and tuning, and sound and tone production. This only costs a few dollars and is compatible with most smartphones. I strongly recommend this to my students. Also, the Pro Metronome. Sometimes I don't want all the doodads available to stare at on Tonal Energy, or I just prefer having a dedicated metronome. Either way, I have a second metronome. Tenuto. This is what I would call music's response to Duolingo or Babbel. It works on music theory and oral skills from a very beginner level to extremely advanced. An excellent tool for students and educators to stay sharp on their listening skills. An iPod, or other dedicated music player. Listening services have been mentioned already in the presentation, but sometimes I like to have a hard copy of music, especially one that I'm very familiar with, when trying to explain concepts to students. Sure, it's a little antiquated, but I know the 15,000 plus songs on my iPod like the back of my hand. An excellent solution for when the internet is less than cooperative. Also, a digital recorder. Smartphones can only do so much, especially when trying to detect the tiniest changes of inflection or intonation. I recommend my students to get a high-quality digital recorder so they can hear what they actually sound like rather than the inside your head perception. Some examples for tools that can be integrated into the art classroom include Adobe Premiere. I would really enjoy having Adobe Premiere for my students so they can begin creating art in the forms of photography and video creation. Students would be able to create engaging video projects of their neighborhoods, a commercial for a product they create, or even a film or video for social justice in the art classroom. Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator. Digital media introduces students to experimentation with the elements of art through digital illustration, with preparation for an advancing digital world. I would recommend that my art students have access to Photoshop and Illustrator to develop their artistic creativity through digital art. Microsoft Surface Pro tablet computers. For digital illustrations, I would want my students to have access to computers that can function as a laptop and as a portable tablet. With these computers, students will be able to work on their assignments out of the classroom and with top performance technology that can easily transfer data. AP Pen graphics, tablet, and pens. I would like my art students to have access to this type of digital media equipment because of the multiple aspects of Photoshop and Illustrator, especially with getting the students to draw digitally on the tablet while looking at the screen while they're creating their digital artwork. Canon Pixma Pro 200 Wireless Professional Color Photo Printer. This type of printer would be exceptional for my students to have access to because of how the printer is able to print pages up to 13 by 19. This will allow my students to create actual poster-sized images and have them printed out in crystal clear quality in the classroom. MakerBot Replicator Plus. 3D printing would be an amazing tool for the students to have access to. With the provided software, students would be able to create their own unique printmaking plates, sculpture components, and scale models of buildings and other artworks to include in their own art making and increase understanding of the different media art can come in. Nikon Z11 camera. Google Images can only do so much in the art classroom, and with copyright laws, online sources can be drastically limited. By having students provided with their own cameras in the art classroom, they can look for and photograph necessary photos for digital art and visual references for projects of different media. Some additional links for music. I recorded an interview with our choir director, Matt Boyer, because I am not a music or art educator. I wanted to get a perspective from my district, so I've included a link here to the podcast interview that I did with him. And some of the links that he mentioned or some of the things that he utilizes are included here as well. SightReadingFactory.com is one of them. This website provides custom and infinite variations of sight reading for students to practice. It has features that integrate into various LMSs and developing class groups for easy management by the teacher. Includes assessment reports and homework assignments. BandInABox.com. This provides a suite for composition, mixing, recording, and practice. It allows for musicians to create backing tracks to play against. Some additional music links are Soundtrap.com, cloud-based sound and song mixing, which allows for collaboration between individuals from individual devices. The International Music Score Library Project. This website provides scores, parts, recordings, and many other features that are all available in the public domain. Very useful for gaining access to music for students, which may otherwise be unaffordable. Also provides scores that students can arrange and transcribe for different ensembles than the original. Some additional art links. These are websites that can be used to integrate technology into the art education. Bomomo. This website allows students with digital painting with a series of buttons that can interact with the direction of a mouse. Students select a direction icon on the screen, and the site creates digital paintings with interchanging colors. JacksonPollock.org. This site allows people to create paintings in the style of abstract artist Jackson Pollock. With this, the direction and clicks of the mouse flings digital paint across the canvas. Students can create an infinite amount of paintings just by moving the mouse back and forth. Pixel Art. Pixelart.com. This is a digital art site that creates artwork in pixels. The site provides a wide variety of tools from painting to drawing pencils. Medibang.com. This is a free digital art software. This site provides an alternative to Photoshop and Illustrator with a variety of tools and instructional videos. There's also some assessment tools. So there are several that are linked here. We've got Flipgrid, Google Forms, Blooket, Quizzes, Quizlet, Kahoot. Many of these are used for review and for quick assessment, both formative and can also be used for summative assessment at the end of an instructional period to check progress. And here's our team. Cameron Taylor. Cameron Taylor is a United States Marine Corps veteran working toward his master's degree in secondary education. He currently resides in North Carolina with his wife and 2 sons. Julie Klein is a middle school science teacher in Park Hills, Missouri, working towards her master's degree in secondary education. She lives in Farmington with her husband and daughter. Nick Jackie-Beck is a high school art teacher in St. Louis, Missouri, working towards his master's degree. He lives in Oakville with his own studio in his apartment. That's it. Thank you for listening. We hope you've enjoyed our presentation and maybe have some tools that you could utilize in your classroom, even if you aren't specifically an art or music educator.